Going either way. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy.
Welcome to Culture Shock Episode 1. My new show where we look at all the shocking things happening in our culture, in the news, and on social media. And as you can see, today is our inauguration or our inaugural episode. So this is a show I've been wanting to do for quite some time. I am super interested in what's going on in the news, in the media, in politics and that kind of stuff. And especially the last year, things have been getting so crazy with the Trump election, and what's going on in our culture, especially in the West, has been just mind-blowing, right? And a lot of people that I aspire to be like, and that I follow and that inspire me, have all been putting out great content and getting involved and active. So I thought it's only time I do something similar, and hence here we are with the show. So obviously, as you can probably tell by now, I'm a huge Trump supporter. This is a shirt I bought specifically for my trip for when I went to the US last year to go celebrate Trump's win on election night. That's how confident I was. I just had a feeling it was going to happen, so I bought a ticket to the States. I bought a party to one of Gavin McInnes's Proud Boys events in New York City on election night, and needless to say, we got fucked up and had a blast and saw in Trump's presidency win, which was amazing. So that was a good time. But now we're back and it's time to get down to work. So today's theme, again, like I said, is the inauguration. It's our inaugural episode, and tonight is tomorrow night is Trump's inauguration. President Trump's inauguration, should I say. And tonight is the Deplorable, which is for deplorables like myself and more famous people, more famous than I am, in the States, to go and do the thing before Trump is inaugurated. So just to give you a bit of background on what the show is going to cover, like I said in the beginning in the tagline, we're going to cover all the shocking things that happen in our culture, news, and on social media. So you are going to hear things that you disagree with. You are going to hear things that you might not like. And this is probably your trigger warning. So either get into a safe space or fuck off, because we're going to cover lots of things that you may disagree with. And you can click the stop button if you like, or you could just not watch it. But hopefully we're going to attract like-minded people, open-minded people who would like alternative viewpoints. And a lot of the stuff I'm going to bring you is going to be coming from alternative media sources. Over the last year or two, as I've been expanding my mind, I've been finding tons of alternative and independent media sources where I've been getting my information from. And as you can probably guess, they've all contradicted what has come out of the mainstream media. And a lot of people don't even know about these things. You'll have arguments with people all the time because they've never heard alternative points of views. They've never even heard of the alternative media. So I want to try and make things easier for people and help bring together all these ideas and channels and profiles and people and introduce you to them so that you can take this information and make a more informed choice for yourself. But the point of Culture Shock also is just to provide entertainment, because it gets all dull and boring if you keep getting bombarded with all these politics and culture war type things and there's no entertainment factor to it. So I thought it would be a good way to combine the two, help educate people while entertaining them, and just looking at also the funnier side of things in life. So I'm not going to go into too much details. Normally the show will be about 5 segments, 5 news articles or so that we'd cover and we'd talk about in detail. But because so much has happened since President Trump's presidential nomination in November last year, and since the news kicked in, we've got so much to cover from then till tonight on inauguration night that I'm just going to cover the highlights. So these are the things you can expect to see on Culture Shock. So we'll just do the headlines for tonight, but in future we'll probably discuss them in a bit more detail. So fasten your seatbelts. There's going to be 2 main sections to the show today. Number 1, we're going to start with the general Culture Shock type of things. That'll be the first half, and then the second half we're going to end with all the Trump specific stuff, starting from the beginning of the year up until tonight. So that's the intro done. Let's get to the meat of the show. And as you can see, we're not going to be jump cutting, we're just going to be shooting live. And it's a bit more informal and relaxed. Got my coffee, got my water here, and just sit back and have a bit of fun. You know, put it on your phone or something while you're getting ready. And just listen, and I'll try and describe, because a lot of this content is going to be videos and photos too, so if you're not watching, I'll try and describe it as best as possible. So I'm going to start off with some British culture. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures on the screen, and as usual, these pictures are from New Year's. British kids out and about doing their normal binge culture drinking. British people like to get mortal and fucked up when it comes to bank holidays and public holidays, and these photos just show you what that's like. We've got a guy with his ass out in one photo. We've got a chick who appears to have wet herself. Hopefully it's not a number 2. And you see this all the time with the British woman, squatting on the streets, taking a leak when they're pissed. You know, a nice, wholesome woman. And finally, my personal favorite picture, which I'm going to highlight here, is what I thought to be a really drunk chick leaning against a pole. But when I read the caption on the article itself, it turns out that it's a guy, right? So this guy, you can see, he's fucking hilarious. He's fucked up. He's got his mouth open, leaning up against the pole. He's obviously had a good night. Typical British people. Yeah. And for those of you that are interested, everything that I cover in this show, all the articles, all the videos will be linked to in the description of this video. So you can get access to all of this content. You can find it online for yourself if you'd like to look at it maybe after the time. All right. So then sticking with New Year's, we had Mariah Carey's epic lip sync fail. Now, I don't know if any of you saw that, but the video was online showing Mariah Carey trying to sing and the backing track just kept fucking up the whole time. And that was quite funny to watch, and she got absolutely torn to smithereens on social media because of it. So I'd love to show you that video, but unfortunately it's probably going to give me a copyright strike. So I've linked to that in the description. If you want to watch it in your own time, you're more than welcome to. Then I remember this coming out at the beginning of the new year, and I thought this was quite hilarious. We've got Amazon Alexa malfunctions. And basically it's just a boy standing by Amazon Alexa, and yeah, I'll just play a little clip so you can hear what happens. But if you want to see the full video for that, then the link is in the description. But I guess the dad should probably clear his browsing history in future, especially if you have kids and you're looking at that type of stuff.
For porn detected. Porno ringtone. Hot chick amateur girl calling sexy.
No.
Hot pussy anal dildo ringtone.
Alexa, stop!
Next, we had the Hollywood sign, which was vandalized, if you want to call it that, to read Hollyweed. And I thought this was pretty cool. I think it was around about the time of Trump's presidential nomination win, but it might have been a bit later, that recreational marijuana was legalized in California, which I think is a great thing. So you'll see a picture of that on the screen showing the Hollyweed sign, and obviously everyone was sharing that on social media. Okay, so now we get a bit serious. There was a video by France 24 showing that women were not allowed into the shops in certain parts of France with, surprise, surprise, a large Islamic population. So much for equality, yeah? That video was, saw that on Paul Joseph Watson's page, which I'll link to, and he's a good guy to follow too. Very culturally explosive, can you say, or culturally triggering. So, but he's a good guy to follow. He's always got really on the ball with these types of issues. Next, along the same lines of things, we have an Indian minister who blamed the victims after a series of sexual assaults at a New Year's party, right? Women, they got sexually assaulted. He blamed them. He said it was a woman's fault because they were trying to dress and act like Westerners. Just think about that. Their fault, right? And we want to open our borders and let these people in who have an attitude like that. Just think about it. All right. Then I saw this one, I was online, and every year, you know, you get these sort of fat positivity people, you know, yay, fat is beautiful, accept yourself for the way you are. And this is another one of those things. We had another fat promoting brand trying to brainwash us into thinking that obesity is somehow okay. And this group or company was Gabby Fresh Swimsuits with a new Year, Same You promotion, right? Typical thing, fat chicks in bikinis, really obese. You can see that there's cellulite shaking everywhere, as you can probably see in the video that I'll put up. Trying to brainwash us into thinking that this is now the new healthy. Don't fall for that bullshit.
Same you.
All right, next we have a woman who was attacked by a crocodile while trying to take a selfie. People will do anything for selfies these days. You're always reading about accidents in the news, people trying to get selfies on the edges of mountains and then they fall down, surprise, surprise. Well, in this case, we had a woman, I think it was in Bangkok, who was attacked by a crocodile when she got too close. Okay, Trump fish. Sounds weird, doesn't it? A fish restaurant in Kurdistan, which I think is in Iraq, was named in honor of Donald Trump. Trump Fish. I'll put a picture of that up on the screen. He says, I named my restaurant out of enthusiasm without any political objectives. How nice of him. I think that's pretty cool. All right. Then, again, getting a little bit serious here, more onto the cultural side of things, especially for us in the UK. So, a UK man was jailed. I'll put his picture up. You can see I've got it over here on my little script. He was jailed because he put a bacon sandwich outside a mosque, right? And he was jailed for 12 months. And that in the UK apparently is considered a hate crime, which is some sort of new crime that they've put out. And he was jailed for 12 months, which first of all in itself is ridiculous. I mean, putting a bacon sandwich outside a mosque, is that a fucking crime? Give me a break. But he was put into jail and he was killed in jail. And for those of you that don't know, a lot of the prisons in the UK are or have a large proportion of the population which is Islamic or Muslim. And so there's a lot of speculation that he was taken out by the Muslims. I heard a chat with Tommy Robinson on another show or YouTube channel that I watch, where he has been in the UK prisons too and experienced this for himself. He was attacked by Muslims a lot of the time too, and he's also anti-Islam. So this poor guy's dead. For what? A bacon sandwich outside of a mosque. We got to stick up for shit like this. It's ridiculous. Not only should he not have gone to jail for something like this, but he shouldn't have had to die. And I saw a similar thing about someone putting a pig snout on a mosque in South Africa, and the whole community going into uproar saying the police should prosecute this guy because of that. For what? Are you kidding me? Okay, now on to one of my more favorite subjects, pornography. So, Pornhub's annual statistics came out where they show you who are the biggest porn consumers, and the British, let's just keep things simple, the British are the world's second biggest porn viewers after, that's right, the Americans. So their stats are out, and I'll put that graph up on the screen, but I want to say congratulations to South Africa for making it in at number 20. Okay, then we had a pregnant British man who is going to be the first in the UK to give birth. Now, if you're wondering, how does that work? Yeah, men can't give birth. So you can probably figure out what's happening over there. But if not, there's a link to the full article in the description. All right. Now, this next article, this one got me, whoa. I was just like, whoa, when I fucking saw this picture. So basically what it is, it's a boy with the world's largest head, has surgery to remove 3.7 liters of fluid from around his skull. Now, if you look at that picture, he looks like a bloody alien, but you got to feel sorry for this kid. That does not look comfortable. So yeah, shame. I'm always against things when it involves children, but hopefully he recovers from that. I don't know if it's going to do too much good with stretching the brain or the head out like that. Sorry, not the brain, but let's hope that all ends well in that case. Then, for those of you that are interested in anything related to the Titanic, I'm a big Titanic fan. It's my favorite movie of all time. I've watched it about 30 times, and so I kind of like the historical side of things behind it too. And recently, about a week or two ago, we had Channel 4 come out with a documentary with a new theory that the Titanic didn't go down just because it hit an iceberg, but because there was actually a fire in the boiler room. And that's why they were cruising so quickly to get to New York, because apparently the theory is that the fire had been running even before they set sail. So that's quite interesting. So if you want to read up more on that, the article's in the description. I've also linked to the documentary, which you can watch online on Channel 4's website. All right, then we've got more racially divisive stuff happening against white people, which seems to be a common thing these days. University of London students are demanding that philosophers such as Plato, Aristotle, and Voltaire be banned from the philosophy syllabus because, boom, 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 they are white. That's the reason. So, no racism here, apparently. Apparently you can't be racist against white people, so I thought that would be interesting for you guys to look up in or look into. All right, another story that got my attention. Recently, we had an Italian referendum, and there was, I don't know if any of you saw this article, there was an Italian model who said that she would give free oral sex to everyone that voted no. In other words, to not stay in the EU. And the Italians won the referendum, and so there's a news article out, I'll put it up on screen, where she actually stuck to her word. Can you believe it? So she's just finished the first leg of her referendum oral sex tour. So those poor lucky bastards, congratulations. And that was the first leg of 9. So you can imagine she's quite tired, but she's still got a long journey ahead of her. Good on you for keeping your word, lady. All right. Next, I can relate to this as a recent vegan. We are pretty annoying. Left-wing Dutch vegan is denied a Swiss passport because she is too annoying. Surprise, surprise. Those damn annoying vegans again. Awkward. So yeah, she couldn't get a passport. You can read up why in the article that I've linked in the description. But apparently, annoying vegans are not welcome in certain parts of the world. Who would have thought? All right. So then you're probably wondering, if you look on the screen over here, why I've got a picture of a weird looking woman next to President Trump. Well, that's part of today's show. That is a realistic sex doll that have been launched in Japan. So they claim that you'll never want a real girlfriend again. They're quite realistic looking. I don't know how they work, but you can find out in the future when more info is released on that. But if you want to find out about these realistic Japanese sex dolls, just click the link. All right, this one, this was pretty good. So, this headline is disturbing moment. A bull mounts a female bullfighting dwarf. Right. As if it's not enough that we have a bullfighting dwarf and a female bullfighting dwarf. To top it all off, she gets mounted and pretty much sodomized and raped by the bull. That poor female bullfighting dwarf. So you can see a picture of that, and the full article is in the description. Okay, so that is it for the first section or segment of the show today. Everything else that's left is related to the Trump, what's happened since the beginning of the year up till inauguration. But just to be safe, I'm going to cut right here, change the batteries on the camera, and then continue. So I'll see you shortly. Okay. Welcome back to Culture Shock Part 2, where we delve into all the things Trump related. Now, there's been so much news since Trump's presidential nomination in November last year, and since the New Year's began, and even since I prepared the script for the show just a few days ago. There's been so much that's happened since then that it's almost impossible to keep up. So we're going to cover all the things that have happened up till the time that I wrote the script. But tonight's the deplorable, tomorrow's the actual inauguration of Trump. And yeah, there's lots of stuff happening around that. Protests, sort of like terrorism, threats from the left. So yeah, you can be sure there's probably going to be more news about this in the next episode of Culture Shock that we do. But let's continue with the things that have happened so far. A lot of these you might have already heard of, but I'm just going to highlight them like we did in the previous segment. So, the first thing which I think most people heard of, unless you just only watch the mainstream media, was this teen that was kidnapped and tortured by 4 black people in Chicago. right? They picked up this mentally disabled kid. They kidnapped him and they put him in a van. They held him up in an apartment and tortured him and shouted stuff at him. For reports are 24 to 48 hours. They abused the poor kid. They even were like cutting out pieces of his hair, and at one point you could see into his scalp. That's how deep they dug. It was just really disturbing, right? And as usual, the media was trying to downplay this. You know, even though these black people said fuck Trump and they said fuck white people, the media was trying to play it. No, it's not political. No, it's not racist. So, you know, stories like these are great if you want to kind of see both sides of the perspective and how they try and spin things. You know, you watch the mainstream media and then you watch the alternative media and you see sort of how they give you different perspectives and how they report it differently and try to mince words and mix things around and spin things a different way to support the mainstream narrative. So that was quite disturbing, but I'm sure you've heard of that. Then we had Meryl Streep, who took a stab at Donald Trump at the Golden Globe Awards. And, you know, we're going to get into celebrities shortly about, you know, all these celebrities, the high and mighty celebrities, these elitists, always wanting to tell you how to think and who you should vote and what's good and what's bad. You know, they know what's good for you. These celebrity elites with their millions of dollars that think they know what's better for the working class person. So anyway, she was having a stab at Trump and she got torn to shreds on Twitter as usual. We had Tomi Lahren, who fired back at her. And if you don't know who Tomi Lahren is, she's a gorgeous blonde conservative babe who does a show called The Blaze. And she always does sort of political commentary. And she had a nice response to Meryl Streep as well. But she got torn to shreds. Even Donald Trump fired back at Meryl Streep. You can read more about that. Again, links for all of this stuff is in the description. Then we had BuzzFeed, who published a shocking fake news article about Donald Trump concerning prostitutes and golden showers. I mean, if that doesn't fucking sound ridiculous enough to you, then I don't know. It didn't take, you know, even a person with half a brain could have did a bit of half-assed research to figure out that this was a fake news article. But BuzzFeed decided to run with it. And then so did CNN, and as a result, they got absolutely destroyed. It was clearly debunked. People saying that this rumor or dossier started on 4chan, but either way, they got shredded. Donald Trump held a press conference, and he tore them apart. And there was a really good clip. I watched that whole press conference, and there was a really good part where CNN was trying to talk, and Donald Trump said, "No. You don't get to speak. You're fake news." So I'm going to put a link to that clip where Donald Trump scolds him like a little naughty boy, naughty school kid who has been misbehaving, because they have been. And CNN, we just all know by now. I don't think it's a fucking secret that CNN is just corrupt beyond hell. They're called the Clinton News Network, the corrupt news network. Who even watches them anymore? I mean, give me a fucking break.
Since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? No, Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are
is
attacking
terrible.
our news organization.
Your organization
Can you give
is
us a
terrible.
chance
Let's
to
go.
ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can
Quiet.
you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's asking a
categorically,
question.
Mr.
Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you
No,
give
I'm not
us a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not
Go ahead.
appropriate.
Okay, so that's 4chan. We've discussed that. All right, then we had death threats to celebrities who were going to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration. And one of the main guys was Andrea Bocelli, that blind guy that does this sort of opera singing. He was getting death threats and he had to pull out. And this, again, is a tolerant left. They don't want anyone to have fun. And they do everything they can to ruin all these events just because they disagree with the other side's point of view. Fuck. So annoying. But anyway, poor guy got death threats. And there was another chick who also got death threats. Another celebrity who was going to sing. But yeah. Then we have protesters caught on camera plotting to use acid during Donald Trump's inauguration. In actual fact, they were going to do this at the Deplorable, which, for those of you that don't know, the Deplorable is basically a ball or event that they're having tonight, which is the night before the inauguration, where all the sort of alternative media, the deplorables, the Trump supporters, guys like Milo Yiannopoulos, Gavin McInnes, all those kind of guys with the alternative media perspective, which we call the truth, everyone with half a brain, they're having an event, right? And so there's tons of people that are trying to protest this. They want to do, crazy things like put acid in the ventilation system. They want to throw paint or blood, I don't know, red paint or something, on these people. They want to spit at them. It's just despicable behavior from the left again. Anyway, there's a video where these guys, and this video was done by Project Veritas, which has done great investigative reporting, especially during the Trump election as well. But they did this video where they literally sit with a guy and they talk about and plan how they're going to put this acid into the ventilation system, and it's all caught on tape. And as usual, when this tape is released, and it has been, mainstream media ignores it, downplays it, says, oh no, you can't trust this guy. Instead of trying to dispute the facts, they character assassinate James O'Keefe. But yeah, they're typical dirty tactics, and instead of trying to actually address the real issue. But anyway, their details were handed over to the FBI, so I think something might actually happen in this case, which is good news. Then there was some more news regarding the protesting of Trump's inauguration, and this was that ads in 24 cities offered protesters up to $2,500 to agitate at the Trump inauguration. So I'll put the link to that article up there. This was proved to be fake news after the time. A bunch of trolls. I mean, if you do the mathematics on this, they'd never be able to afford it. But a lot of the mainstream publications actually ran the story. But they are trying to disrupt Trump's inauguration. It's been all over social media. The leftists are calling on everyone. They're desperate. Do everything you can to get you. Disrupt it. I don't have access to the articles because they came out after I prepped this, but I've been hearing about it over the last 48 hours. So I'll touch on that in the next episode. But there is some good news, and that's that more than 5,000 pro-Trump bikers will form a wall at Donald Trump's inauguration to stop these protesters that are coming to disrupt things. So that's good news. Bikers, not the type of people you want to fuck around with. Huge, big, beefy guys. So glad to have them there. This is such fucking awesome news. And let's be real, these anti-Trump protesters, most of them are either females or a bunch of wimps. So they don't stand a chance. Good to have you guys there. Nice fucking work. Okay, on to some more good news involving Trump and the inauguration. And there was a news article that came out that said that talk radio hosts and bloggers may benefit from the White House press move. Apparently, Donald Trump is going to move the venue where they normally hold press briefings to a larger venue so that they can allow for more sort of independent media and bloggers and smaller guys to come in and get a chance to be part of those briefings and to report the news accurately. Because currently we have the mainstream media who love to just twist and manipulate things and never give the accurate news, which is fucking frustrating for the rest of us that want to hear that. So now we'll get the alternative guys in there, and this is good news because now you may even see people like Alex Jones and Infowars, the guys that were typically always labeled as conspiracy theory by the mainstream media to try and discredit them. Now you might see them, which is awesome. And they might even have priority over the mainstream media, which is even better. So good news there. I was quite chuffed about that one. All right, then a little bit more trivial Trump news. Trump will keep his personal Twitter account. So I'm not much of a big Twitter user. I do see posts on there now and then, but I know Trump and a lot of other people are huge Twitter users, and Trump, I think, even has more followers on his personal @RealDonaldTrump Twitter account than the president does. So he's decided not to use the @POTUS, which is the president of the United States Trump handle. He's decided to snub it. Nah, fuck off. Wrong. I'm not taking that. He's gonna keep his current original @RealDonaldTrump during his presidency. So good fucking news there. I got to cut out swearing a lot. I think in future, if we're going to try and reach a more broader audience, we've got to cut back on the swearing. Okay. Wow. Okay, so the Trump section wasn't too long because we're already at the end. I'm on my last little news item regarding Trump, which is good news. So to end off, I just wanted to talk about these celebrities that, you know, they do these YouTube videos, right, where they're telling you, don't vote for Donald Trump, you know, boycott this, boycott that, how you should think. And they're just coming out all the time. So I'm going to play a couple of clips of those. We've got lame videos like I Will Survive. You know, it's supposed to be a dig at surviving Trump's presidency. You have these celebs doing these piss poor singing of I Will Survive. It's terrible. We have these other videos like celebrities stand up for us. Stand up for us against Trump, the big bad man. My God, these people are so pathetic. Anyway, so you've got all these videos and I'm sure you've seen some of them. A lot of people on my social media, and sorry if you're one of them, but they take these things so serious. Oh my God, we've got to stand up against Trump. You know, you get so brainwashed by these fucking shit for brain celebrities. I don't know why anyone gives them credibility. They're irrelevant. All they should do, and all we pay them for, is to entertain us. Don't get involved in politics, for God's sakes, please. And news even, you know, just stick to being a dancing monkey.
What are you going to sing today?
I am going to sing I Will Survive
by Gloria Gaynor.
Man, this is going to be interesting, guys. It may get too real.
I'm not sure that I will survive, but that's what we're going to do.
Anyway, so the guys at Red Eye have come up with a response video. So I'm going to end off this Trump segment with their response video. This is kind of their rebuttal to the dear celebrities, or to the celebrities that are trying to preach to us poor, working class, common folk. So I thought that would be a good way to end, so let's watch that quickly.
Dear celebrities.
Dear celebrities.
Dear celebrities.
Stop.
Stop.
Stop making these videos.
No one asked you to make them.
No one.
And very few people seem to like them.
Yet you keep making them.
And most importantly,
they don't seem to help.
Whether we agree with you or not.
Or not.
Or not.
Your videos don't change our minds.
In fact, they make us want to do the opposite of what you say.
So for your own sake, and ours,
stop.
Stop. Stop.
Stop.
Stop.
Signed,
everybody in the entire world.
Okay, so that's it. That's it for the first edition of Culture Shock. Thanks for watching. Things will hopefully improve in future. You know, we'll start off rusty when we begin something like this. And with your feedback, which I really welcome, please, you know, leave comments, leave your feedback in the comment section below. Tell me what you like, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see more of revolving our culture on the show in future. But I can hopefully learn from that, you know, adapt, make changes to the show so that we can get things running a bit more smoothly. And yeah, like I said, let me know what you like, what you don't like. If you prefer more of a, do you like more of a sort of talk show host type vibe like this, or would you prefer a more faster paced Philip DeFranco type show where we jump cut a lot and just get to the news straight away, you know, a more quicker thing? We're going to adapt as time goes by and the show evolves. So if you did like it, please hit the subscribe button to see more shows like this. Ideally, we're going to do shorter shows in future with only a few segments that we focus on, and hopefully do a lot more frequently a lot more frequent shows, like maybe once a week. But I think to start off with, we'll probably start off with once every 2 weeks, see what the feedback's like, see you know the response from people, and then adapt and yeah, learn and move from there. So thanks for watching, you fucks. Be safe, especially if you're out at the deplorable tonight. If you are a Trump supporter, you know it can get a bit crazy out there, so be safe, especially over the next 48 hours with this inauguration. I think there might be some crazy shit going on, hopefully not, but if there is, I'll be watching to see what goes on, and I'll definitely report back on that. But go President Trump. Finally, you're in office. It was a long battle, and I'm glad to see you there, even though I'm not an American. Yeah, but we'll talk about that in future episodes. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in episode 2. Have a good weekend. Out.